Good evening and welcome back. Attorney Jay Davis from J.W. Davis and Associates joins us now for our weekly It's the Law segment. Good evening to you.
Hey, Shelby.
Happy to have you. So we are going to talk about a case that is getting national attention, the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery here in Georgia. Now, the 25-year-old was fatally shot back on February 23rd. His family says that he was jogging unarmed in his Brunswick, Georgia neighborhood. Father and son, Gregory and Travis McMichael, are now charged with his murder. So my first question to you is, we're going to break down the timeline a little bit. It happened back in February, but why has this case gone through so many district attorneys?
Well, the first one that was investigating apparently had a conflict because the father, in this case, of the two that had chased down the jogger, had worked previously in the court system in the district with the district attorney as far as investigations, at least, and that type of thing. So they really should have probably recused themselves a little bit earlier. And then, as it turns out, they did recuse themselves. And then the subsequent prosecutor also had some conflicts that needed to recuse himself, and apparently had done some investigating and been a part of the original investigation. It was not initially disclosed, and then it went on from there. Then it sort of moved to the state, and now they've asked the federal prosecutors to get involved.
All right, so thank you for explaining that timeline for us. My second question, representatives for the men accused of murder here, they say that they thought that Arbery was breaking into homes in the area, so they were making a citizen's arrest. So tell me a little bit about the citizen's arrest, and does this stand?
A citizen's arrest is a statute in most jurisdictions that goes back quite a ways, to where if you witness a crime, you can detain someone. You can try to do an arrest. Typically, it needs to be a felony, and you have to have firsthand knowledge of it. If you don't have to necessarily have totally witnessed it, but have all of the knowledge of that within your capacity. You can't, which appears here from the information that we've seen so far, you can't just suspect something and go out and do it. You have to have some firsthand knowledge of an actual crime being committed, and typically that crime was a felony. In this particular case, if a burglary is a felony, but we don't really have any real evidence that Arbery was any actual knowledge that he was the burglar.
Gotcha. And then, of course, my final question here is, this is now being investigated as a federal hate crime. What factors need to be considered for that hate crime?
In a federal hate crime, typically it requires that the motivation is some sinister motive, which in this case, the allegation is going to be a racial motive, and that's either actual or perceived, which is why a lot of people have issues with the hate crime statute as it is, because a perceived racial motive is a very indefinite act that nobody could control. If you could prove the actual hatred or the racial motive, that would sort of be a different thing. A lot more people could understand, but especially with the federal statute, which allows it to be a perceived motive, which means perceived by whom? Perceived by somebody, an unbiased witness standing aside, who normally it would be a jury, but is the jury's makeup inclined to say, whether you meant to or not, I believe your motive was something different than what you might have actually felt at the time. And that way, the person doing it has no capacity to judge that at all prior to taking that action. Criminal intent, it's not, a lot of people argue that that it's judging somebody's mental capacity or thought, but criminal intent, the thought of criminal intent is always at issue. So it's not that big of a deal that that's at issue, but the perception of other people gives it a problem.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jay, for answering those questions and breaking down this case for us.
Thank you, Shelby. Great to see you.